The 2025 ASEAN Summit is already making global headlines.
But on behalf of the United States, I'm proud to help settle this conflict and forge a future for the region where proud independent nations can prosper and thrive, safety, security, and peace.
While Trump is busy signing his peace deals, this one between Cambodia and Thailand, the ASEAN family is expanding with its new 11th member.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this year, ASEAN and Timor-Leste have come a long way in welcoming our neighbor into the ASEAN family.
Today, history is made. Timor-Leste has been admitted as the 11th member state of ASEAN.
The Chinese are also in town, with trade war talks running high on adrenaline in the background ahead of the Busan summit between President Trump and Chinese President Xi. And while Trump's presence is bound to bring the trade at the center of the table for conversation, Prime Minister Modi has opted to attend the gathering virtually.
आसियान भारत की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी का मुख्य स्तंभ है। भारत सदैव आसियान सेंट्रलिटी और इंडो पैसिफिक पर आसियान के आउटलुक का पूर्ण समर्थन करता रहा है। अनिश्चितताओं के इस दौर में भी भारत आसियान कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप में सतत प्रगति हुई है।
The implementation, the dynamic implementation of India's Act East policy. It is a policy which is part of India's foreign policy, an integral part. It has grown over the years, and I think we can say that the comprehensive strategic partnership linking India and ASEAN has been flourishing well. Of course, there is a pressure to keep finding new sectors, new initiatives, new programs, and that is an ongoing task. For this year, I would like to simply say two things. One, ASEAN now will become an 11-member state grouping. East Timor is joining the grouping this year. So we will have to pay some special attention to the new leader, to the new member, and at the same time, all the sectors where India has an extra edge, whether it is health, technology, digital transformation, India will have to continue making very meaningful offers to ASEAN partner states.
ASEAN continues to remain a key trading partner to India. With India-ASEAN trade agreement in place, India has over $121 billion in bilateral trade with ASEAN member nations. But the trade deficit is rising rapidly to $45.2 billion as of 2024-2025. With China keen to build 3.0 version of its free trade agreement with ASEAN and India opting out of the RCEP agreement, the challenges are only multiplying.
The signing of ASEAN-China Free Trade Area 3.0 on 28 October will mark a new chapter in our partnership. Beyond ASEAN Plus One framework, we are accelerating the regional comprehensive economic partnership, the world's largest free trade pact.
Conventionally, if you look at the world over, the biggest exporting countries have at least 20 to 30% of their exports from the neighboring regional area. India has most of its exports to the west, which is far away. And that is why India needs to recalibrate and start exporting to neighboring countries, and that is why ASEAN becomes very important for India also. The most contentious topics, of course, will be tariffs, because none of the ASEAN countries are very happy about tariffs. Another contentious topic will be rare earths, because America wants the rare earths and China refuses to budge because it knows rare earths can promote the defense industry and it does not want more war in this world.
Meanwhile, as other nations rush to take a photo with Trump, The ASEAN snub will be the second this month given by Prime Minister Modi to Trump after he skipped the peace summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, although both leaders have been exchanging calls.
The trade talks can go on and will go on. We just won't have a top-level bilateral meeting between Trump and Modi. Such meetings with Trump can be useful, but the fact that there is not going to be any direct personal meeting between the two does not mean that the commerce ministers and any number of other senior officials cannot continue the negotiations, which are still ongoing.
Amid anticipation of a precursor trade deal or even a visit by Trump to India, the Quad seems to be in cold storage, even as Trump is later scheduled to visit Japan after the ASEAN Summit to meet the new Japanese Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi.
I don't think the Quad is dead. It will take, I think, a resolution of India's indirect support for Russia's war in Ukraine through its imports of Russian fossil fuels to really restore the relationship between the Quad member states, especially here the US and India, to a more constructive level.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi has signalled hopes for deeper collaboration for ASEAN. But will this be enough given US and China's economic incentives?
So US-China have traditionally been the two pillars, and therefore now as we look at this great power competition increasing in the political space of the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN is at the very heart of this great power competition, and one of the ways in which ASEAN can insulate itself is by diversifying its partnerships. And no other country in the region offers it the kind of space that India offers, both in terms of scale, in terms of its economic dynamism, in terms of the strategic heft that it brings to the table. And I think largely, therefore, what we are witnessing is India making an outreach to ASEAN and ASEAN making an outreach to India. And I think that is why it is critical that we think of India continues to engage with ASEAN, that India continue to build its relationship with ASEAN as it has been doing for the last decade.
With the Prime Minister's strong message for India's Act East ambition, will his virtual address suffice for the global stability India seeks to play a role in? Only time will tell.